Wisdom excels foolishness. Then I turned myself to consider wisdom, madness, and foolishness. For who is the man who will follow after counsel? Whatever it is, to do it. Then I saw that wisdom excels foolishness, as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the senseless man walks in darkness. And I indeed know that one event happens to all of them. So I said in my heart, as it happens to the senseless man, so it also happens to me. Why then have I gained abundant wisdom? Then I said in my heart, this indeed is also vanity, because the senseless man speaks of his abundance. For there is no remembrance forever of the wise man or of the senseless man, since now, as in the days to come, all things are forgotten. And how will the wise man as well as the senseless man face death? Thus I hated life, because the work done under the sun was evil before me, for all is vanity and is the choice of one's spirit. Then I hated all my labor in which I toiled under the sun, for I must leave it to the man who comes after me. For who knows whether he shall be a wise man or a senseless man? Yet he will have authority over all my labor in which I toiled, and wherein I grew wise under the sun. Indeed, this is also vanity, so I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor wherein I toiled under the sun. For there is a man whose labor is with wisdom, knowledge, and courage. Yet this man shall give his portion to the one who has not labored therein. This also is vanity and a great evil. For what does a man for all his labor and his purpose of heart wherein he labors under the sun? For all his days are sorrowful, and the distraction of life is his. For even in the night his heart takes no rest. This also is vanity. There is nothing better for a man that he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor. This I also this also I saw was from the hand of God. For who will eat or who will drink without him? And he gives wisdom, knowledge, and gladness to a man who is good in his sight. But to him who commits sin, he gives the job of gathering and collecting, that he may give to a man who is good in God's sight. This is also vanity, and is the choice of one's spirit. A time for everything. To everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to give birth, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to pull down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to throw stones, and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace, the gifts of God. What profit has what profit has the worker from all his labors? I have seen altogether the tasks which God has given the sons of men to be engaged in. He made everything beautiful in its time, and he indeed put eternity in their hearts in such a way that man may not find out the work God made from the beginning to the end. I know there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and do good in their lives. Indeed, every man should eat and drink and experience the good in all his labor. This is God's gift to him. I know that whatever things God does, they shall be ever. Nothing can be added or taken away from these things, for God did them that men would fear before him. What is has already been, and what is to be has already been. And God will require an account of what is past. God judges all. Moreover, I saw the sun, the place of judgment. Moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. The ungodly man was there. I also saw the place of the righteous man. The ungodly man was not there. I said in my heart, God will judge both the righteous man and the ungodly man. For there is a time for every action and every work. I said in my heart concerning the speech of the sons of men, God will judge them so as to show them that indeed they are themselves like animals. For what happens to the sons of men also happens to animals. one thing befalls them, as is the death of one, so also is the death of the other. And there is one breath to all. So what advantage does a man have over an animal? For all these things are vanity. All go to one place. All are from dust, and all return to the dust. Who knows the spirit of the sons of men? Whether it goes upward, and the spirit of the animal, whether it goes downward to the earth. So I saw that there was no good except that a man should rejoice in his works, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what happens after him? Those oppressed. Then I returned and saw all the oppressions done under the sun. Behold, the weeping of the oppressed, but they have no comforter. On the side of the oppressors was power, but they have no comforter. So I praised those who were already dead, more than living, as many as are alive until now. Better than both these is he who has not yet been born, who has not seen all the evil work done under the sun. Again, I saw all the labor and all the courage of the worker, that this is the zeal of a man because of his companion. This is also the vanity and is the choice of one spirit. The senseless man folds his hands and consumes his own flesh. Better is a handful of rest than two handfuls of labor, and it is the choice of one spirit. Then I returned and saw a vanity under the sun. There is one, and there is not a second one, and he has neither son nor brother, and there is no end to all his labor. Neither is his eye satisfied with wealth, but he asks, for whom do I labor and deprive myself of goodness? And also is vanity and a painful distraction. Notes from the previous page. 2:13, man can choose wisdom or foolishness, light or darkness, good or evil. 2:16, no matter whether we walk in the light of wisdom or in the darkness of folly, everyone suffers and dies without remembrance. It is for this reason that Christ has come to trample down death by dying, that we might live eternally in him. Thus we are bold to sing, Memory Eternal. 2:24 through 26, earthly food and drink still ends in death, but the eternal food of the Eucharist, John 6:55, imparts good, that is wisdom, knowledge, and gladness, to those who labor for God. 3:1 through 11, the eternal word, the beginning and the end. Revelations 22:13, came into time and redeemed all things. He turned our weeping into joy, our mourning into dancing, our hatred into love, and our time into eternity. 3:14 through 17, that men would fear before him expresses the preacher's understanding of why the world is the way it is. God uses the world to turn us to himself. For at the end of the age, the time will come, judgment. See 5:7, 7:15, 8:11, 12, 11:9, 12:14, 3:22. This is a reminder that we are to rejoice in the simple satisfaction of accomplishing the works of God has given us to do. 4:1 through 3. Job expressed a similar sentiment of being oppressed when he wished that he had never been born to see such sorrow. Job 3:10 through 16. But Christ has sent a comforter, the Holy Spirit, John 14:16, to wipe away all tears. Verse 2 speaks of the communion of the saints.